Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, I was looking through my most popular videos, my most viewed videos, to look and see if I could find any that I could re-record and make much better by re-recording. Because if you didn't know, about 4 years ago, I was not making good videos. I was just kind of printing them out like as if I was just a printing press of Wizard101 videos. I think I uploaded every day. And if you don't know, uploading a Wizard101 video every day isn't very cohesive to making quality content. They had next to no editing, and by that I mean they had no editing. Most of them didn't even have thumbnails. They were a mess. But one of them stood out, and that was how to get AOE spells as a life and death early in the game. Now, the reason why this stood out, first off, it was an 8-minute long video, which already means I just kind of rambled very fast. 2, it had like 37,000 views, so it means a lot of people have this question at some point and want to know. And then I actually clicked on it. It was abysmal. I was coughing into the microphone. I think I probably recorded it when I was sick. So I was like, let's make this video over again and make it a bit better. Also, there's probably more ways to actually get these cards now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, there are a few item cards I'm going to focus on right now. First off, I'm going to focus on Deer Knight and Rat Spin. Then I'm going to mention Ship of Fools quickly because that one isn't as early and isn't as useful. And then I want to get into pets because those are kind of the different branches of ways you can get AoEs early. So without further ado, starting off, we got Deer Knight. Now, Deer Knight is actually probably one of the easiest AoEs to get early in the game if you are looking for one. Right here in Marleybone, right here on the map, by the reagent crafter, Felicia Worthington, recipe shop, boom. Go to jewels, you can see that there is a death jewel from level 15 to 25 recipe. This makes a random assorted jewel out of like 14 different options, and one of those options is a triangle jewel that gives the Deer Knight card. Now, this recipe is actually really easy. Dream Shield, Iron, and Onyx. Onyx you can obviously buy from the reagent vendor. Iron is dropped from like literally every mob in the game. I'm not going to really list them because there's just so many. It's like 300 different mobs will all drop iron. So realistically, if you're looking to craft this, you can look up that list if you don't already have it, or you can buy it in the bazaar if it for some reason somehow shows up there. The bazaar is currently dead, but maybe by the time you're watching this video, King's Isle will have wisened up and fixed the bazaar from what it currently is. And then also Dream Shield TCs, which again, you should be able to find in the bazaar. If not, I believe you can get these at a treasure card shop. I will throw it up on the screen where you can get it exactly, but this can make a triangle jewel Deer Knight card. This right here is by far the earliest way you can get an AoE as a death wizard. You can get this like right off the rip, right when you start the game. On top of that, as I walk towards the next spell, you can also get the Deer Knight Rises jewel from a few bosses in the game, which I'm not going to necessarily go over the best ones to get. I highly recommend getting the triangle jewel, not the star pet jewel, but it is a way to get it and it would be worth mentioning at the very least. All right, next up, again, I would be remiss not to mention this. We're going to talk about Ship of Fools because Ship of Fools is probably one of the best AoEs in the game because of that heal back. It's very, very good. So I'm going to mention when to get it. Unfortunately, this isn't as early in the game as most of these other options can be, but again, still worth mentioning. So Ship of Fools you can get from Drowned Dan right here in the Science Center in Celestia. Drowned Dan's cheats are relatively simple. Basically, you need to defeat his minions, you get a combo, and then you need to use spells of the corresponding pips to hit him in order of those pips, and then he will let you kill him. It's not the easiest fight in the world, but it's a way to get Ship of Fools, which is really good. If you want a more in-depth guide, I made a lore spell video like a month ago, I believe, which you can watch, which better explains Drowned Dan's cheats than what I just quickly went over. Now, again, I'll mention this real quick. You can get Ship of Fools from packs. You can get them from the Celestial Horde packs. I don't recommend it because let's be honest, packs are very fickle. They don't really give you the cards you want most of the time, but it's worth mentioning you can get these from packs if you're willing to shill out some money. Again, for the death section, I would much more recommend that Deer Knight jewel that I mentioned earlier. While I walk in the direction of Ratatoskir's spin, let's quickly talk about something that is necessary for both Ship of Fools and the Rat Spin, and that is gold skeleton keys, because gold skeleton keys are needed to farm these bosses, and they're not exactly easy to come by, especially if you're just trying to quest through the game. So how do you get them, you may ask? Well, gold skeleton keys are actually not nearly as hard as they used to be to get because you can get them through badge rewards. Now, I don't know if I have any unclaimed badge rewards here. I don't know how to see that, if there's like a specific section of badge rewards, but you can see from getting through certain badges, you can get a gold skeleton key. Now, it's very, very easy to complete all quests in Wizard City and like Crocotopia and get 2 or 3, and you could really continuously make new wizards and keep doing this to farm up a bunch of gold skeleton keys. It's not exactly time efficient, but if you spend all of your time doing all the side quests and getting through the game, you can rack up an amount that definitely will get you enough to do these bosses, farm them, and get the spells you want. But now that that's done, we're at Rat Spin. Let's talk about Ratatoskir Spin real quick. Now, this boss is King Boar, another skeleton key boss. This is much earlier in the game because you can technically get it as early as Grizzleheim, which is level 20 in Savarstead Pass right here. Now, King Boar's main cheat, and the one that you want to focus on, is that you need to beat him before you beat the Grendel, otherwise he will keep reviving them. It's a pretty easy boss, just single hit him, then hit the Grendel. They might revive once because of the Shadow Intercept, but really easy boss in comparison to most other gold skeleton key bosses. Now, again, he drops Rat Spin. Now, as far as I know, there's no item cards like Deer Knight, like there's no jewels you can get to get this, but once you have the spell, you will permanently have it forever. Real quick, before the next section of the video, I want to talk about something just real fast, and that is Archmastery. Now, the reason why I want to mention this is that a lot of new players don't understand Archmastery, and all the time on the Wizard101 subreddit, you see people going there and going, why aren't my spells working? I can't cast this spell. And that is because these spells, specifically lore spells, require an Archmastery pip. The reason why I'm mentioning this is that both Deer Knight and Rat Spin require this pet, same with Ship of Fools. So I'm going to mention it real fast before moving on to the last section of the video. These spells require an Archmastery pip, which you can get by coming right here to your deck and picking what pip you want to start with. So Ship of Fools would be death, Deer Knight would be death, and Rat Spin would be life. Once you have one of these pips, which they generate automatically as long as you have Archmastery Rating, you can cast a spell. Now, how do you get Archmastery Rating, you may be asking? There's 2 ways. First off, at level 50, you start getting it naturally. Obviously, if you are a low level wanting to use these AOEs, level 50 is probably higher than what you are right now. If you come to the Jewel Shop in Wizard City, which is in the shopping district right around here, directly to the right once you enter from the commons, Catherine Rockhammer right here will sell Archmastery jewels of the different types. There are specifically square and tier Archmastery jewels, which you can buy here. They're 10,000 gold, which is a little pricey, but once you get these, you'll start generating Archmastery instantly, and through that you can use these spells. I thought I'd just mention this real quick because I don't want anyone in the comments going, why can't I use these spells? It's very easy to get Archmastery early. You just come here, get the jewel, boom, you've got some Archmastery. All right, let's move on to the final section of this video and the most important aspect. I went over jewels, I went over the train cards from the gold skeleton key bosses, but this right here is actually the earliest way to get them in the game, which is through pets. Now, the reason why I saved this till the end is because pet training is hard if you do it early in the game, because kiosk pets cost like 100,000 gold, and on top of that, you might not even actually get the pet you want. But it's worth mentioning, you can for sure get up to 100,000 gold by Marleybone Mushu if you go out of your way to do things like Mount Olympus and save up gold and go out of your way to try to get as much gold as possible. So there are 2 main pets that I would recommend for life and death here. First off, for life, I would recommend the Kookaburra pet. Right here, Kookaburra, because at adult, it gives you the card Leaf Storm. It's very small there, but you can see it. It's on the screen. Leaf Storm, which is a 4-pip AOE, very useful early in the game, and you can get it right here as soon as a Kookaburra turns to an adult. So the good thing is, guaranteed, once you get a Kookaburra pet, you can get Leaf Storm. On top of that, it gives you a Blade card, which is very good and useful as well. As a death, the Gloomy Eye pet will give you a similar situation with a Deathblade card, and that at adult it'll give you a Colossal Frog card, which is a death 4-pip AoE, basically like Humongo Frog, but death. Now on top of that, there are some more pets that you can get. Like for example, I believe, where is it? Somewhere around here, the Grim Squeaker gives you a Deer Knight card. There are probably other pets that also give you Deer Knight cards, and you can look them up if you want to see different ones. But again, I'd recommend those two main ones. On top of that, you can go to pet talents up here and also find like the Deer Knight one and the Leaf Storm one if you also want to try to like double up and get a pet that definitely has one as well. The only thing I would say about this is it's much more random. The chance you get this talent is much less than you getting the Kookaburra pet and getting it up to an adult. But as far as I know, that should be it for today. Let me know if this was helpful to you in the comments below. Make sure to add any recommendations if I missed something, but I think I should have overall gotten all of the major ways you can get AOEs early in the game as life and death. But otherwise, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the join button if you want to. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.